days straight. Forced to smell my own sweat, my stink, my fart, my scrotum sacs. Forced to all water turned off in the cell, not even able to bird bath. Given one boxer, one pair of socks, one t-shirt, and 2 sheets. I'm not able to wake up in the middle of the night running for some water because I'm dehydrated from the forced medication that they forced me upon, saying I'm violent because of their excuses to cover up their use of force. Forced on Thorazine, forced on Seroquel, forced on Holodomor, a liquid chemical restraint, forced on many other drugs, and the consequences for refusing to take your medication is obviously a beating and a shot to your arm, which I did endure quite a few times, by the way. We'll get to that later. 12 days, no running water, waking up in the middle of the night, dying of thirst, going for water, not getting none, banging on their door, please give me some water. Nope. Wait till morning. Morning comes, a little medicine cup filled halfway, and I am forced to take medication, or they run in and beat me down. That was the water I was drinking all day. A couple shots. Smelling my stink and not being able to leave a room. That was followed, of course, by another incident. Well, an incident prior. That was actually followed by an incident prior, which in that situation, I was beaten severely. Let me back up. Let me tell you about the situation. I am in a cell. I had my life threatened once again. We're gonna kill you. You're not making it out of here. You're a piece of shit. You're a coward. You don't deserve to exist. And every single word you could think of was said. Your mother's a whore. You name it. Psychological torture was unbearable at times. This man stood tall. They come to my cell and say, hey, we're going to take you to a cell, knowing that I'm claustrophobic. As Rumsfeld said to Guantanamo Bay, if they are in fear of something or allergic to something, we could use it to torture them. Before it was finally overturned after 6-7 years of using the worst nightmares to come back to life to torture people. Well, they did the same thing to me right here in California, in America. They knew I was claustrophobic severely. So, forgive me, I got a wussy side, huh? I'm placed in these tight cells, 8 by 8, sometimes even smaller. I can't even pace back and forth. The shells would keep you from, you have to walk sideways to the door. But there is a little window that's cracked about that much in this particular cell. I tell the sergeant I will not move because I'm claustrophobic. She tells me the other cell has bigger windows, but little does she know I had been placed in one of those cells that are completely sealed from the world. No oxygen. For a claustrophobic, that's just unbearable. I said my prayers, I said my salutes, I told my gods, here I come. I said, hell no, I will not go. I'd rather die than be tortured by you. And so they marched, armored out, masks on. They pulled out their OC fogger, big containers like this, orange spray. Takes away all your oxygen, suffocates. Tense. And they stuck one of their hands through that food tray pour, and they squeezed that bottle. That bottle was squeezed, hit my chest, hit my face. I tried to cover. Only so much covering you could do. The whole room suffocates you. It's all in the air. Full can runs out. Give me another one. Another can is put into the door. And whoosh, whoosh, over 30 seconds. Give me another one. At this time, it's been about 10 minutes. I'm about to die. I already said my prayers. I was all good with it. And I ain't gonna lie, this was still 2005, early 2005. I wish I would have died. It would have saved me a lot more pain, a lot more hell. And, you know, that's why I had prayed that single day. Well, instead of giving them another can of OC Fogger, OC 40, they come up with a 40mm pepper disposal round, stick the gun through the door, bam, shoot me in the back, leaving a bruise bigger than my fist on the back of my back. Pepper flies everywhere. I was going to give in. I mean, your body just, at the last minute, it's like when you try to drown yourself, you don't try to tie a chain to your leg. No matter how much you want to die, your body will not let you. You will take that breath of air, you'll fight for it. The same situation here. It was being too painful. 10 minutes in, couldn't breathe. Suffocation is one hell of a way of going. It's not the funnest of ways out. So I walked to the door. I said, fine. It was too slow of a death. I wussed out, I suppose. My body wouldn't let me. I couldn't function. I just wanted some oxygen. I cuffed up. I'm took and slammed to the floor. Which, that slamming could kill a man, cave in your chest. People have died from being slammed like that with your hands tied to your back, feet shackled. But luckily, I had a nice build on me. Slammed, turned on my back, strapped to a gurney, full tight as can be. I was then dragged, well, taken, blind, burning, can't breathe. Felt like a bag was over my head, and I was just gasping like a fish out of water, while on fire at the same time. That's the agony of that OC Fogger. You're not only suffocating, but you're burning. You're burning bad. So they get me up, they take me to the shower, and they turn on steaming hot water. They wanted to top it off. It wasn't good enough. I happened to get claps on my way out. No inmate had seen a man in the last 10 minutes. Or take 2 full cans of OC Fogger and a 40mm pepper disposal round. I got a clapping end. Claps I heard all the way down the hall. Took into a shower. They're pissed. Hot water comes along. Hot water on hot OC Fogger. Would you rather burn with the hot water and just clear that OC Fogger off, or burn with the OC Fogger? I tried to back up. They refused to let me out. I yelled, "This water is hot." They're filming the whole thing. "This water is hot, please." Nope, they refused. So while my hands are tied behind my back, feet shackled, I somehow managed to make 4 grown police officers start begging for their lives. They begged, they shook, they turned blue. One individual turned blue. They begged me on camera, but even after begging for years for the video, they refused to give it to me. Now they're saying they're lost. And they disposed of me, even though I asked permission. I even asked the courts, please give me these videos. This will also help my case, but it will prove my point. I begged for dear forgiveness, and at the end I heard, "Fine, we pulled you out of the hot water, now let him go. Stop, you made your point." Once again, never trust the devil. Never trust the most sadistic individuals known to the face of man, which would be a criminal police officer or a correctional officer or agent, because there's always happened to be an agent around. Homeland Security or even IA by the feds. One would come through. Fighting the war on terrorists, oh you bad boys, while blaming Libya and Egypt for torturing their prisoners. Sickens me just thinking about it. How many people fell for these cowardly lies? How many are so washed to the point that the truth hurts so much they just can't handle it? They have to run for drugs. The sad part is they run for drugs. They don't even know they're getting it from the same government. And that's a long story. I'm not motivated to talk about that right now. Sad. It's a loop. Anyway. They pull me out, and once again I am suckered. I see a band with a badge. I'm hoping, hey, there's going to be somewhat men of the word, not so sadistic where they're telling one little boy or girl they could tell them everything about them, tell them your daddy's hitting you, tell them when you're having your period, when you're pissing and turning around, raping and mutilating them. That is the sadistic criminals these officers and officials are. Well, I took the word. I let them go. Let the individual go. And I'll let you figure out how I did that. Making 4 men, grown men, beg for their lives while my hands are tied by back, feet shackled and blinded. Bruce Lee has nothing on me, ladies and gentlemen. So, I let him go, and boy, was that a mistake. I should have at least waited till 1 man died. And I ain't gonna lie, I'm not threatening nobody, no. But if I could do it all over again, an individual would at least die. Well, Lord behold, officer, those correction officers never men of the word. 1 man grabs me by the chain in between the back of my arms, my handcuffs, and 1 grabs me by the chain between my legs. And bam, I'm banged against the shower walls while my hands are numb, blue, bleeding. My legs, the scars are still there. Like a battering ram, literally like a battering ram. 1, 2. At one time I thought I was put in a machine and that this is all virtual reality. I guess I suffered a concussion. I will never know because they don't treat you after they hurt you. No. I'm pretty sure I suffered a concussion. I didn't lose consciousness, but I went blank for a second. Bang, then I'm kitty cornered against the wall. My back of my neck literally flush with the wall while my chin is touching my chest. My belly hanging down with my legs curled up. They folding me against the wall, trying to make me into a package against the wall. My chin touching this, the back of my neck flush kitty cornered between the showers and the wall. The pain, the torn ligaments. And then I'm twisted. I start taking turns. Let me hold it for a second. While holding my arms straight from my back, stabbing back. 1 man drops this right leg, twist my back this way. I'm not gonna lie, I had already had three slip discs in my neck from an incident that I was set up by officials, which I will get into later, of how Middle Easterns were used as initiation tokens for people to get good with officials so they could bring them tobacco, drugs, you name it. As Middle Easterns were. We were their initiation piece. Although they still turn around and tell on them if they try to tell them, you know. They'd say, hey, you killed this man, you stabbed this man. Middle Eastern. Like I said, initiate collateral initiation damage. And you'd be amazed, you know, at this point, how many individuals you would not think, people that cried about being racially profiled, being treated, would literally front up, as they call it. They'd see an officer of his race, and they'd get brave. They'd get in your face and try to get you in trouble, to get you in the hole so these officers could torture you. And then initiate deals using you. Hey, we won't let him snitch you officers out if you bring us this, that, which was all a loop. Well, I am used like a battering ram. Now, thrown into a cell. No sheet blanket, shaking in pain. Now I have not only 3 slip discs, not a single Tylenol to kill the pain, any type of pain medication. Now I got 1 in my low back, and now I guaranteed have torn ligaments as I've had them before. Shaking and shocking in pain, cold on the bottom of the floor, no sheets, no blankets, just shivering. Begging for a Tylenol to be seen, and nope. Finally, the doctors, they after this constantly saying I refused to see the doctor, telling the doctor I refused. After I'd slip him a sick call, slipped directly to the MedPass lady. Only way they'd get there. The doctor came up and said, why are you refusing? I said, I'm not. So finally, MRI takes place a month later. It's a month after an MRI already showed I had slip disc. In some miraculous way, I am completely healed, ladies and gentlemen. These officers, these sadistic cowards, even though I'm hurting more than ever, I mean, to the point I'm shaking like a little girl, cold, naked, just been raped even, on a cold floor like an Iraqi civilian. Like a 14-year-old girl that watched her family get their throats cut, and was raped and her throat cut. Where that individual, the Marine, is doing 10 years in the brig with a big screen TV, having hookers come and please them. Anyways, that's not my point. Well, you put that together, but it's one out of hundreds of thousands of incidents over there. But I am now more pain than ever, and now this MRI is showing I am perfectly fine. But what they're so stupid was I already had gotten a copy of the medical records from months prior. The MRI report showing I had slipped discs. Now they didn't change that one because that was officially caused by inmates, and they were not getting linked, even though they refused to process an inmate for giving me a puncture wound or trying to break my neck and what have you, and roll me up for battery of knowledge by over a dozen hypocrites, I say, because these are the same people that pretend they're fighting for civil rights and equality, this and that. I'm not saying they're all black. There was, there's even a Hindu guy in there. Well, a couple of Jewish, this was their war. This was their retaliation, supposedly, for some 80 years, as I kept hearing. I go, I'm not even German, ladies and gentlemen, or Nazi. But, anyways, long story short, now, I've just told you medical records get altered. So don't ever take an inmate wrong, especially if you are Middle Eastern and watching this. Your son says, hey, I'm hurting, they're lying, how could this be? You're saying I'm okay. Believe him. He's Middle Eastern, believe him 100%. He says he's been falsely written up, believe him. I am proof. And eventually I'm going to add to this polygraph examination. Right now it's just unfeasible by cost. 4 questions, I've $200 for 4 questions. I want to be asked over a dozen. I can't just be throwing away $400 for a few questions here and there right this second. Plus I want to get some truth serum, which takes a court order and a videotape all I accuse and say. Well, long story short, I'm in more pain. Now medical records are saying I'm perfectly fine and I'm not even given a Tylenol. I'm wobbling around when I'm able to go out. Denied showers, denied any water, denied breath of air. And a few months later, now I'm even taken and another charge made up, totally false, and strapped to a bed. I am now strapped by all 4s, right hand here, left leg spread, right spread with movement, 1/16 of an inch, no sliding up and down, thank God they were leather. Forced on my back for 4 days straight, over 72 hours. No movement whatsoever, not to itch. Just imagine waking up, you need to scratch your scrotums or your buttocks, and you can't reach. This is all the movement you have. You cannot reach. You hope you pass out. You hope. Sometimes your body doesn't let you pass out. Imagine for 4 days straight being woken up when you do pass out. It's because you can't itch and you're in pain. Someone rushes in, shoves up an incliner back down your back to sit you up while your hands are still tied, and shove straws down your throat, literally making you choke on the milk, force feeding you while your hands are still strapped, your legs are strapped. 4 days straight, ladies and gentlemen, not 24 hours. Forced to urinate while your hands are still strapped with only this movement. Up, down. In a container laying flat on your back with a light that never turned off 1 second. The whole 4 days. And forced to try to urinate laying on her back. Imagine what happens when the container overflows because you're laying on her back. Once if you have a small penis, though, I really feel sorry for you because you got to make sure you lean this way, whip out your penis, throw it to the left, scoop them up with this, hoping the scratching with a plastic rim doesn't make you shrivel up, ladies and gentlemen. Anyhow, I'm just giving you a little descriptive action. And urinate while laying down. Now, you can't hold the container up because, unless, you want to cut your thing off or your stuff, it's not feasible. So you urinate like this, now the container starts overflowing. You can't grab with the right hand to kink off your penis to stop your urinating. You're trying hard. Oh, stop. And now you stop. But now there's urine going down all the way to your back. Yelling, please, my urinator's draining all over me. And you got to force there to lay there for an hour until somebody comes in while you're still chained, no movement, not to even stretch a limb. And your sheet's yanked from under you. And you're given a little towel, a little damp, but you can't reach nothing. And if you're lucky, they'll dab at you. And now, or in one situation, I urinate in the container. Holding the container, can you please grab this container? No, we'll be in there an hour. And I accidentally slipped from my hand. That thing just went bloom, 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 bloom. Urine reaching my neck. I'm yelling, please, please, lady. I can't hold my back up because I got a slip disc in my back, and my hands are strapped, and my legs are strapped. And now it's reaching the back of my neck, nice warm urine. I'm forced to lay there for an hour, and before somebody finally comes in and whips the sheets on him while keeping me strapped, grabs the container, and gives a little towel and dabs at me. Well, that took place also. It's highly illegal. I filed grievances once again, but they are a sham. There is no way that system works, and in fact it only brings on retaliation. But according to the court of law, you must file and exhaust your 602 administrative grievances before you could even think about suing or pursuing any other type of charges. And Lord behold, if you don't file the grievance charges, no DA is going to even come close to listening to your accusations. And they still won't even after. Trust me, I tried. Well, I finally took it off the strap, denied yard for over 36 days straight, locked in a cell, 24 hours a day, every 3 days given a 10-minute shower. That was a little bit of hell. Well, it doesn't end there. Let's go on. I survive all this. I send grievances. I try to make video complaints, all which have been somehow lost. I go on. I'm finally transferred to another prison. But now with all these false accusations being brought up against me every time they committed a crime against me and violated me or did something, I'm transferred to a higher security prison now, a level 4 prison. In fact, a 180 yard. This is high maintenance, high profile. The little rights I had are even now even stricter. At least one good thing came out of it. I was able, after 15 months, to get a TB. 15 months not knowing what's going on in the world. I found out a tsunami had hit over a week and a half later. Found out an earthquake erupted over a week and a half later. What is everybody talking about? That's the American way. Only in America, ladies and gentlemen. Long story short, throughout that time, once again, I told you I was forced medication. I was highly allergic to the medication called Seroquel. Seroquel was making me intensely itch inside out. Like my lungs were on itching. I scratch and can't reach. I beg, please, just if you're not going to take me off this forced medication, or just take me off this drug, give me that. No. And the funny thing was, the doctor happened to be Iranian, the psychologist. But of course, you know Iran's history with Iraq. They don't like him too much. And there's quite a bit of Jewish fellers in Iran, by the way. They are a minority, a big minority. And wealthy in Iran, by the way. Treated a lot better than my people, my kind. And so there I was, itching away, hoping I'd pass out. So, before I rip my chest open with my nails, and that is fact. I scratched, months, constant internal itch. Never got used to it. On a chemical restraint, I tried to do jumping jack. This man was healthy. This man was doing push-ups, pull-ups, sets of 10 on his fingertips, his claws. This man was doing 100 reps of push-ups all day long, 1,000 jumping jacks an hour straight, non-stop. And now he tried to do 10 jumping jacks, but one arm would go up while the other one would go down, no matter how hard he tried. For what? Can you tell me for what? Because I happen to be Middle Eastern with Iraqi roots. As you call them, Iraqi, it's Iraq. No. Iraqi. Because he knew that you had illegal sanctions placed on Iraq, that people were dying and being forced to fight like dogs in a cage for a single penicillin. No, my daughter shut up. No, my son shut up. No, my daughter. Causing anarchy and government unrest. Forcing Saddam Hussein to gather as much U.S. dollar bills and literally purchase penicillin for his civilians on the under. Forcing him to kill homosexuals. Forcing them to kill homosexuals because they're more likely to spread disease than the average man, and there's just no penicillin or iodine or hydroperoxide or chlorine or any AIDS-fighting material or even common malaria or herpes medication around because of America. Forcing a man to make choices